we are not just called to only fellowship with other believers. You know, we are to be light to the rest of the world. So the fact that we have a facility and a heart to be able to open our doors to the community means so much to me.
The building actually allows us to reach out to the community, and even when there isn't a church member present in the building, it's still a ministry. And so to me, to be able to walk in here on a Monday night, and first you walk in and you see individuals utilizing the food pantry, and then you have the Girl Scout group come in, and then the Boy Scout group comes in a short time after that. And then before the evening is done, you've got a gathering space full of orchestra members from the string group practicing for a couple of hours. To me, it's just it's amazing to see the diversity of the groups that are in here, the individuals that are in here, and the chance that we have to provide outreach to our community through our building itself.
I'm thinking about the bike ride when they come through town. Drag-by, this facility was just so good for that. I mean, it was hotter than the heck that day, and guys, everyone got off their bikes and come in here, and there was plenty of food and you know, spot to sleep and whatever they wanted to do. So it was this building is really a good center for this community, and all God's plan.
I wasn't overly involved when the flood of 2008 happened. I'd been attending church here and was starting to get active, but one of the things that really, about that particular situation really struck me was how it was immediate, and the response was immediate, and it was without thought. Like the people of the church just jumped in. The church volunteered the building for whatever needed to happen. They put up temporary walls and just immediately were like, we need to help, this is what we need to do. And I was very, very proud at that point, even though I still wasn't really, I wasn't super involved at that point, but it was good to see that I was involved with a church that was that giving.
It's amazing. This church is busy, I bet, 60–70% of the time. If I come in here on a Monday night or a Tuesday night or a Wednesday night, you know, you pick the day, there's typically something going on that is not necessarily church related. Whether it turns out to be the Cedar Rapids Strings, whether it turns out to be Family Promise, whether it turns out to be Lego League, or Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts, there is something going on in the church all the time. And the thing that's really cool about that is that that there are typically people from our church that are in those groups, but at the same time, the majority of those groups are not necessarily our church members.
And so whether or not they are believers themselves and they're seeing church activity that's encouraging to them, or if they ever end up needing to come to a church, they'll remember, oh, that church, the people that were there when we were doing Boy Scouts were really nice, or I know the pastor from that church, or I ran into someone doing whatever, and it's I think is a great outreach. Besides, it's just a kind of a not just to get people in the doors, but just to show the community that we're not just about our church body. Even though if you don't come here and contribute to the offering, we're willing to kind of bless the larger community with the facility that we're not using 24/7.
I don't think I've ever been a part of a church that was so open to the community around it.
So much activity going on in the church that it's just started to wear things out. Whether it turns out to be the carpet or some of the tile, or the sound system, or the heating and ventilation system, just all those kinds of things, whether it turns out to be the roof. There's only so much you can do to, I'll say, under regular maintenance. And at some point, you've got to go in and you've just got to completely rehaul that. And I think that's why you put the maintenance kinds of things in the budget. But from a capital campaign standpoint, those things that are kind of above and beyond anything that's a maintenance activity is why it's important to to bring that forward now.
I think the church actually is supported by the giving of members of the congregation and members who have been blessed by the church, and so by giving, we're blessed, and the church is blessed, and the ministry, Christ's ministry of the gospel, is increased. And so when we have an opportunity, we should look at that opportunity as a blessing, as an opportunity to share in what God is doing, and not as a task or an ordeal or something that is hard to do, because God promises that He'll bless us if we give, and we don't want to miss out on that blessing.